What did I listen to growing up? Lots of stuff. Really crazy the amount of material that I've retained just by being around my parents' friends, and just things that hopped in my memory.
It's so weird how that works with these songs.
What did I listen to growing up to play? I saw Rick Beato talk about this the other day, and I was fascinated with Matt Cameron from Soundgarden.
Temple of Dog and Pearl Jam stuff.
Amazing drummer that really blew everybody's mind. Fun parts that were just unique and so cool. What did he listen to growing up? It was, kind of tells the story. So I decided to pick out my top 5. And what taught me how to play.
Number 5.
Til Tuesday. Til Tuesday had an album called Voices Carry that came out in like 84 or 85.
Wow.
Amy Mann was a student at Berklee as a bass student or a songwriting student. She had this band that blew up and won a Grammy for Best New Artist. This album I loved. I could hear the Paiste cymbals really well. I could hear drum sounds really well. Just play along with this. And I played with this album so much that I wore the cassette out and I had to go buy it again. I've only done that with 2 artists ever. Michael Jackson's Thriller and Amy Mann's Til Tuesday group. But I've had to buy it twice because I stretched the tape. I played along with this so much. Every day I could finish the album like it was nothing. So I might have to go back and play some of those songs. Remind of what it was like to be 14 years old playing drums. Oh, the drummer for that was Michael Hausman, I believe was his name. I don't know what he ever did. I don't know if he was a Berklee student at that time or not. But I always just remember the way the cymbals sounded, and I was like, this sounds just like the Paistes that I'm going to the store and I'm hearing and buying, and I love that, and that's what made me really like Paiste cymbals.
Thanks, Michael Hausman. You helped me play drums.
Number 4.
These aren't really in an order. These are the ones that I played and I listened to as a guide to learn to play music.
Number 4.
Once I kind of had a handle on playing drums, listening to the GRP stuff was a big deal to me, and I love the Rippingtons, and I love David Sanborn. The albums that really got me and that I loved, and I studied Tourist in Paradise, Live in LA. Live in LA just was a masterclass of drumming. Listening to it, it was the way that I love to play. I love to hear drums, and they had so much freedom, but the guy had so much control. I think that was Tony Morales that did the Rippington stuff. So good, the Rush Freeman band. So incredible. Love that. David Sanborn had Marcus Miller in his corner. He had Straight to the Heart in the early 80s and A Change of Heart in kind of the late 80s, and that was the tour that I went and saw Sanborn on. Wow, Marcus Miller really influenced me on the way I hear bass, the way I hear a lot of stuff. Marcus really influenced me. He had so many drummers on his stuff. It was Gadd, it was Robinson, it was the heavy hitters of the day, all playing on this Sanborn album, and I love this. And I went to Atlanta to Lakewood Amphitheater, and this was my first concert, was this album, to see Marcus Miller and David Sanborn. I didn't know, I think Hiram Bullock might have been on guitar on that show also.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Journey, no doubt. Steve Smith really influenced me and so many people that are close to my age and older and younger.
Goodness, that dude.
He came up with unique parts, and he came from Berklee, from that and the John Luke Ponty stuff. Then gets the call from, here we go, we're playing some Journey, we're going on the road, and now you're playing a massive double bass set, and you got to have toms going all the way down. The toms up top need to be this deep. It's weird to see Steve playing these days because everything's so small and everything's so low and ergonomic, but at the time, goodness gracious, that stuff, he looked buried behind that big old red Sonar drum set. Escape, so good. Departure, God, such great rock and roll. Just everything about it taught me how to play. I didn't get to see Steve play in any of these things. I got to see him later on with Journey, but taught me so much. Crazy goodness. Frontiers. So much stuff with toms that made me love tom work so much more, and it made me want to be more melodic, and it did. Sometimes it was a problem where I was a little too melodic. I'm like,
I'm taking up the bass player's space.
So that wasn't fun, but there's other ways to do it with other sounds. But yep, Journey, I played along with that so much. And then Race on Radio came out.
Oh, wow.
Larry London. That was a whole different sound. It was completely different. Playing it was not as easy to me as playing along with Steve Smith. I guess because I worked out all his parts so much. Larry London comes in and I'm playing. I'm like, wow, this is weirdly hard. And I didn't know why it was hard. I didn't understand how the Nashville drummers thought and how your hand hits. And as a kid, it vexed me. It did. I was like, okay. And I loved it because it just felt so good to hear all that. And the guys are playing live and it felt great. Mike Baird was on drums for that live concert and it was great. Journey taught me lots.
2,
Rick Springfield. Rick Springfield is the one that freaks the most people out.
Who's your favorite, bands? Bonham and Zeppelin and all these different guys. It's
Rick Springfield. Jack White and Mike Baird were the drummers for this, and I studied what they did. Really studied everything about it. I tried to find anything about those two guys and read anything and watch anything. So I would listen to those Rick Springfield records. Jesse's Girl came from Working Class Dog, and Working Class Dog had so many good rock songs on it and shuffles and just things that you could really learn, and they were played really well. Jack White really killed this stuff, and later in Nashville I'm playing in a bar one night and this guy comes up to the stage and wants to know, do we know any Temptations? I look up and I said, yeah, we do, but we'll play it if you'll come up here and play Jesse's Girl and let me sing it. He went back and played my kit. I went up front and sang Jesse's Girl just because I had to have Jack White playing my kit back there that I'd watched play since I was a kid, and his parts really influenced me. Me and him went to the bar and sat and kind of tell me small stories about going to Japan when they're in their 20s. Just the amazing things that happen in music, and it was exciting because this was a person that really influenced my playing a lot. Mike Baird.
as crazy as he is. Mike, if you're seeing this, you're crazy. You're great, but you're crazy.
His playing crazy influenced me. Listening to the stuff on Til, listening to the programming, listening to all the different things on Living in Oz. Living in Oz had so many good drum parts. They were fantastic. They were great. Some of them were over the top. They were really powerful. They were accessible to me as a young drummer. And I played along with that Living in Oz album over and over and over. But I also played along with Success Hasn't Spoiled Me Yet like it was brand new. I played it over and over. Same thing with Working Class Dog. In my head, I'm sitting there singing all those B cuts that'll never be heard. Love it. Just love that stuff. It was just such good rock and roll. I still love Rick Springfield and loved what he gave to music.
I really do.
And Tim Pierce being my favorite guitar player on lots of this crazy stuff and all those live things. Springfield, I'm fanboying out.
Number 1.
Yeah, it's not Rush. It's the Outfield. 100% my number one album that taught me how to play drums, Play Deep, and the album Banging. But mainly Play Deep by the Outfield. Alan Jackman.
Plug.
His drums were, to me, perfection of what I wanted as a drummer. They felt inspired. His parts were always so good in those songs. The China cymbals, absolutely, I had to have it. Seeing Neil Peart play with Wuhan China and then hearing Alan Jackman play and then all the other metal drummers that had to have two on each side, and pretty much in the 80s you had to have a China. You just didn't realize how loud that thing was really about to be and how offensive it is to almost everybody's ears. I listened to that album over and over and I played it over and over and over, and I would draw the artwork. But these are the albums that I picked.
5
of my top albums that I played along with over and over and over. Oh, honorable mention, Permanent Waves by Rush. That taught me how to feel odd time signatures without having to count. And that was a big deal to me. I didn't get restricted by the numbers, and I could just feel when odd time signatures were there and what those felt like. And I loved knowing what that felt like instead of always feeling like I had to count to a number.
There you go, honorable mention.
I'm out. See ya.
What about Ride the Lightning?